Yeah, don't feel like the Lone Ranger.
So are you going to do any big shows? Are you going to travel, maybe Bud Nationals or maybe up into the Elma Beat Rec?
There's that one big show. I think it's in Hanford.
Yeah.
That Sport Mod Mafia is doing. So
Yeah.
we're going to do that.
Cool.
Probably Vegas. Probably do the Pat Pettit. And then we're really trying to gear up towards that, Winter Nationals in Arizona? The one they just ran?
That's a big one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Shootout.
So I think we're going to try and make that one for next
Very cool.
year.
Well, we're going to try to be down there for that stuff next year. We made Vegas this year, and didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but, that's how it goes sometimes. But
Life happens.
Yeah, it did. It was a good learning experience for all of us here at Moxie, and we know what not to do now. But I'm excited to see this car run come through Willamette.
I am too. I want to see it.
Yeah, on the Speed Week series. I'm looking forward to seeing that because there'll be 3 nights you guys are there.
What's that?
You'll be there for all 3 nights at Willamette?
Yeah, I'll be there all 3 nights.
Very cool.
And I have run the car once in Merced for that Brooks Shaw School.
Yeah.
And Wayne Brooks is just, the guy's a superhero.
Genius.
I mean, he's got a cape. He can fly around the room. It's ridiculous.
Genius.
And he watched me 2 laps and knew I had a brake problem. 2 laps from the inside. And he was right as it could be. Went out there, and right out of the box, the car is just a monster. I was going after the dry slick track like it was the heaviest hooked up track ever. And you can just, and I can contest this to, Ryland Racing and Larry Shaw cars. I've always heard, I could feel it in my seat. Oh, you can feel all 4 corners. I'm like, whatever. Got in this car. Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Well, when you're talking about modifieds, period, you've got to put Shaw at or near the top of the list as far as...
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, they really, truly build some of the best race cars that you're going to find. We had a Shaw late model back in the day that was just, you look at the quality and the way that car was put together, it was just unbeatable at the time. And we won a lot of races with it, finishing, third a couple times in points. And, you watch what these Shaw cars do, and you can't argue with wins.
Yeah, and we've heard a lot of similar testimonies to their driving school from the guys up here that went last year. And they have nothing but praise.
Well, a couple
for the
champions
guys.
came out of that, and I think everybody that went to that school, I'm pretty sure everybody that went to that school won at least one feature last year.
Yeah,
and there was
right there in the top of the
everybody.
points.
Yeah, there was 21 or 22 cars.
22, I think.
Yeah, you had almost everybody, and even people that were, the guys that didn't get wins, they improved so drastically over last year's season after going to the Brooks Shaw driving school.
That's cool that Shaw shares that knowledge with it. He charges you $1,000, but it's worth it, right? Yeah, and he gives you all this knowledge that you didn't have or you were looking at backwards possibly, and just that's invaluable.
$1,000
That's
for that
invaluable.
knowledge. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's invaluable because you could spend years chasing the car, trying to fix it, or trying to read
Trying
about
to
it,
figure
and
it out yourself. Yeah, good luck.
Money well spent.
Exactly.
Yeah. What was the biggest thing you got out of that school?
Well, I had already gone to the Race Logic School, which is a really great class also.
Yeah.
And then Kevin, I figured since I bought a shop, might as well talk to the guy that built
it.
my car and his ideas on how to make it go fast. But then the next day, there's probably out of the 25 guys that were there the first day, only about 12, 15 were there for the actual driving. And every single car, you could tell from the beginning, people were struggling. They told us a different way to look at how to drive. And if you drive it this way, we'll make that car better. And by the end of the day, every single car was a rocket ship. So that plays into what you guys were talking about with, the 21 guys that got better.
Yeah.
You applied everything you learned the Friday on your Saturday or whatever days that you're running, but on the second day, you actually drove the thing. But then you applied that knowledge to, okay, what's the car doing? How can I do it? Now you've got better knowledge on to where to go instead of what you would have done last year, which I found out. I was like, oh, my God, when I was at the Pat Pettit, I totally went the wrong way. Totally. I would so undo everything I did that night. The car was still good, but, then you Band-Aid it, and that's, one of the things that the thing is they explain it because, I don't know, we're all a bunch of idiot race car drivers, so we don't know much, and they put it in terms that you understand. Your car, you got 1, 2, and 3. In 1, you trip over a log. In 2, you bump your nose. And in 3, you put a Band-Aid on it. What do you say you move the log out of the way?
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay.
And I'm sure they preach one change at a time, too, because if you make a couple of changes, then you don't know which one actually helped or hurt the car. So.
And I've seen a million guys do that exact same thing. Check it out and change 4 things. Now the car's a rocket.
Well, what did we do?
What changed
Which
made
one
it that
was
way?
It? Right. Was it all of them?
Right.
Yeah, and you gave up something else, too.
We're going to have to call security. We got people under your car again.
That's all right. Let him look. That's okay.
So look at this crowd of people around this car. And it's been like this all weekend long. It truly has. I know you guys left for the second half of the day yesterday, but it's been like this all weekend long for the show. This car has had a crowd of people around it. And I think initially they see the eye candy, the wrap, it just really grabs your attention. Then they start looking at the car, and you see them getting under there and looking. And we had people checking out your front suspension last night, under there checking things out. I even saw guys with flashlights. I mean, they were getting
flashlights on their phones,
yes,
taking
they
pictures.
were looking at stuff, and it amazes me that what this car has the attention it's grabbed from the racers. Not just the fans, but the racers are all over this thing, going, "Oh, okay." I see what they're doing.
I really appreciate that part, too, because you know what it takes to build one. You guys have been around it forever. You know what it takes to get one of these together, and it just doesn't happen overnight. And
right.
Yeah.
A lot of homework and, long, late nights.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've got a quality piece when the 7-time late model champion Trevor Glaser walks by and checks out your car and raises his eyebrows. That just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, wow, nice piece, he says. But very cool. So
plug sponsors?
Yeah, you've got 1 million sponsors on this thing.
Yeah, we got a couple. It's it's nice. The success has been great. I absolutely have to Excel Sports picked them up actually on a fluke. I'd read that they're out of Florida, and they do the racing suits and stuff. They're all over Facebook and that. Yeah. And I had read that they were doing sponsorships. And I'm just some guy from Podunk, Medford, Oregon, and don't think anything of it. But they were actually looking for guys on the West Coast. So a cold call talked to him, and he's like, hey, we'll do it. And so they made me a new race suit and gloves and shoes.
Wow.
And
It's probably $1,000 worth of stuff you got out of that race.
The suit was like $1,800.
Yeah,
he told me the price. I was like,
thank you.
I was thinking like $400, bro.
4-layer?
It's 3.
3-layer, yeah. See, I mean, that's the thing. The answer is always going to be no if you don't ask.
Exactly.
And what's the worst he could say is no.
Absolutely. A phone call worked out. Now you guys got a great fire habit.
Exactly. And Southern Oregon Archery, they were one of my first sponsors years and years ago. I'm a plumber, and he was my apprentice, and he got out of plumbing and did that. So guy's super knowledgeable with archery and that. And I got Eichenlaub Lawn Care and Cleanup, and Wilson Pro Pole, Kevin Jonke, Morton Sports Bar. They've been around for a while. Rogue Boiler Works, those guys have really been super helpful. And General Equipment, they do the best they can. Industrial Tire Services, they change all my tires and swap them out, which we all know when you're busting tires, that just...
that's hard work.
I'm more busting knuckles and toes.
Absolutely,
So bring it over to those guys. Those guys have been on board for quite some time. But it's kind of a group effort that, they'd all kind of... When they say it's a race team, it's a team, The drivers get all the glory and all the fanfare and all that other stuff. But I couldn't do it without these guys. And, my pit crew, Mary's over there. She's one of mine. I also have my other pit crew, Garrett. And then the guys, Jordan and Donnie Bratton, who are my competitors but have been, just absolute, the best and doing everything they can to help me go fast.
See, that's cool to hear.
That's model racing.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's an example.
No kidding. Well, no, we got
no fun if you don't have anybody to race against. Why not help your competitor?
If
you
get
out there and have some fun.
Right.
Exactly.
And you want to get better, race against the best.
Or even the guys that are like crashing everywhere and they crash into you and they're just doing the best they can and no one's helping them.
Help them so they don't hit you.
Exactly.
Well, it starts there, but then the next thing you know, you're racing those guys for the lead, and and those they're always really appreciative, and
you help them move the log.
Exactly.
Something else we talked about last night.
Yep, I know where you're going
over here. The POWMIA sticker. Yep. We brought that up on an interview last night.
A couple times.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Is that something?
Yeah, no. I'm actually a vet. I was 8 years in the Air Force during the first Gulf War. And my neighbor is a Vietnam vet.
Thank you.
And absolutely. Happy to do it.
Right on.
It's my
Warren's
privilege.
a former Marine.
Hey, I'm a jarhead.
Oh, there you go. My father's a jarhead.
Right on. MP.
There you go. Well, my buddy was a Navy guy, and he was in Vietnam, and he had spoke about that being kind of important to him, and I was like, you know what, that'd be kind of a cool deal. And actually, on my new suit, I actually had that same emblem on the epaulets of the deal. I mean, it's the least we can do. I mean, we could get into all political kind of stuff, but I really don't think that our vets are taken care of the way they probably should do.
I don't think anybody does, except for the government.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's a whole nother long conversation.
Well, we're getting a lot more proactive in that area nowadays. People are really starting to come around 180 degrees of what Vietnam after effects were, and people are starting to recognize it. And if the government won't help, we will, So
exactly,
that's cool to see that on your car.
That little part, just to bring attention to it, it's not hard, and I'm proud to do it.
Absolutely.
Right
well, thank you for your service.
Absolutely, anytime.
Very cool. So I am excited. I cannot wait to see this car come through in the Speed Week series.
I cannot wait either.
That's going to be a cool.
Yeah, we'll be at the Grove on the 15th. So
okay,
that's our first race.
That's our first race. Yeah, but we will see you. I mean, at the latest, we'll see. We'll be.
Well, if you get rained out down at the Grove, don't forget Willamette's a little bit north,
right up here,
and it may not be raining at Willamette.
You never know.
But usually if it's raining in one place, it's raining at the other.
It rains more at Grove.
True.
It rains more at Grove.
It does rain more at the Grove. It's right at
the
foothills there. Yeah, and we're more mid-valley, so yeah. Just keep that in mind. We'd love to see you, man. We'd love to have you up.
We're thinking about going to the play day. I think you have on the 8th.
Well, we have one this next weekend
the first
and
the
weekend
8th.
after that.
Yeah, so we were thinking about doing the one on the 8th.
That'd be great.
Right on.
Because I'll tell you, Willamette's it's not Cottage Grove. It's a lot bigger, and the banks aren't as much. It's a lot wider, a lot faster, and every little bit of practice you can get on a track like that, come through for Speed Weeks, it's going to help.
Yeah,
exactly. I was thinking more like let's figure out the gear before we get to the Wild West Tour.
Yeah.
Well, and there's lots of guys you can talk to around here that would be more than glad to help you on the gearing, and some of the guys that took the Shaw School last year, the 04 car down there, Rod McCombs, he did the Shaw thing last year,
and he was wicked fast at the end of the year. He got better and better.
And Rod's the kind of guy like yourself. He's glad to help if he can help a competitor. He's there to do that. I mean, you're only
that's an AMOD too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he probably shouldn't have any problem helping me.
right. Absolutely.
Yeah, and he might be down your way too. You never know. And we'll help you out up here. If anything we can help you with, we will.
You bet. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Man, Medford is a weird one too. A lot of guys from up here are super fast, and then you get to Medford and it changes, and the way the track's configured, 1 and 2 is always different from 3 and 4, and it'll throw you a curveball bigger than anything.
I know when we started, really talking about the show on Northwest Dirt News, and we started making posts on Moxie Media, and Mike sent us a message, and I was like, "This guy's coming up from Medford."
Yeah.
He's coming up from Medford for the show, and I thought, why not? This is great. This is what it's all about. It's not just about Willamette Speedway. This show, it's about all racing. The tracks here in Oregon. We have a drag car that runs at Woodburn here, and last year we had a sprint car, and we were supposed to have a guy bring a Winston West car, but he couldn't show up this year. And Winston West, I still call it Winston West. Can you believe that?
K&M Pro.
K&M Pro, but at NASCAR
whatever
stuff.
Name they put on it this week.
Right.
Hey.
But it was cool.
2 and 2 here, huh?
And that's why I call it Northwest. The Northwest Race Car Show is because race cars from everywhere are welcome. This isn't about one track. This isn't about one division. It's about race cars, drivers, sponsors, growing
families.
Our sport. Absolutely. And when you said you're coming from Medford, I thought, he wants to pull 3 hours from Medford to come to this deal? Absolutely, bring that car up. I didn't know you were going to bring
put it on tour across the states.
I didn't know you were going to bring a piece of artwork to the show. I mean, I thought you were going to bring a race car.
Well, I mean, if you put it into perspective, it's about 14 hours to Vegas from Medford. So 3 hours, that's standing
yeah.
It was 5.5, 6 hours to Merced. This wasn't so bad.
Well,
and it seemed like a lot of fun. I've been wanting to come to this for a long time, but just never had the car done in time. So I was really happy.
Well, we sure appreciate you showing up.
Absolutely.
We sure do.
It has been one car that everybody has kind of been around and talking and looking at and raising eyebrows at, and it's a beautiful piece of.
And Mary, thanks for your help. Is it Mary? Thanks.
Yeah, we've actually had, for those of you guys that are listening out there, we've spent some time with these guys here this weekend, and what I got to tell you, Mike. You are a character, man. I enjoy talking with you. It's been fun off the air. Just it's been all laughs and jokes and just having a good time. And I would think you're the kind of guy at the racetrack that everybody needs. Just that spirit you have about you is awesome.
Absolutely,
and it's just about a good time.
Thank you. I was a little worried. I was just hoping I wasn't going to swear 37 times.
We all go through that.
Yeah.
It's amazing what putting a mic in front of you will do.
It will. Yeah, you become
I try
conscious.
to behave and stuff. And all my friends are like, "Dude, you're going to mess it up."
Well, we're glad you didn't run from it. We had a couple people yesterday that just
we heard Schofield.
Nope, no Mike.
Rob Campos this morning.
We had
brought the radio equipment out and he took off. We didn't even turn it on. It wasn't even plugged in and he was running away.
He wouldn't even walk by without shielding his face.
It's true. It's absolutely. I got a picture of it.
TV cameras or something.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, man.
I love it. So again, man, thanks,
thanks,
for
Mike.
showing
Thank
up.
you.
With this
Absolutely, thanks for having me. I
supporting this
really appreciate it. Everything you guys have done and how cordial you guys have been. It's been really great.
We'll make you feel right at home at the Speedway too when you make it up this way.
We've all got the same thing in common, man.
That's right.
There you go.
You know?
Yeah, we're just all supporting each other.
Right, having a good time at the racetrack, and we've all got this, and it's what we do for fun. We might as well be having fun together instead of